Ahiru no Sora debuted during the fall 2019 anime season, a good 7 years after Kuroko no Basket. But what you may or may not know is that in manga form, Ahiru no Sora actually published a full 4 years prior to Kuroko. So now that Sora, Kurumatani, and the gang are finally getting their time to shine on TV, and the comparisons with Kuroko's basketball inevitable, does Ahiru no Sora compare to Kuroko no Basket? Well, not so fast. Now, before we get started, I'd like to offer you guys a like and a subscribe for the low cost of free. So if you could just tap those buttons for me, I would greatly appreciate it. Now, as I've said before, and I'll start off by saying it again, I loved Kuroko's basketball. When it comes to hype, Kuroko excelled. The games were all-out wars, and by the end of a Seirin High School match, I felt like I needed a cigarette. Having said all that, however, if I had to categorize Kuroko no Basket, I'd call it a shonen anime about sports, as opposed to a sports shonen anime like Slam Dunk, if that makes any sense. Well, let me explain. So in Kuroko's basketball, the sport was secondary to the action, and basketball played more of a vehicle to the story rather than a principal element of the story itself, and its characters displayed incredibly exaggerated abilities and physics-defying powers. I mean, jumping into a three-point shot and starting the shooting motion before you get the ball? Now that was actually pretty cool, but I mean, come on, Midorima. Even Steph Curry would take issue with something that ridiculous, and he sinks half-court shots routinely with ease. That's why Slam Dunk has stood the test of time and is still among the top 10 selling manga of all time. Author Takehiko Inoue drew on his own real-life experiences with the game of basketball and creating an authentic story in hopes of sparking a love for the game as an art. And he did just that. Slam Dunk shifted the Japanese culture, inspiring an increase in school basketball team participation in Japan by over 1 million kids across a 5-year span during the manga's run at a time when interest in basketball was virtually non-existent. It was the attention to detail, including the lessons from Dr. T, that brought the science of basketball to the masses and piqued nationwide interest. Sprinkle in an entertaining love triangle, and you've got yourself a great story with wide appeal that remains grounded in the purity of sport. So going back to the original question then, can Ahiru no Sora compare to Kuroko's basketball? Well, no, because it follows more along the lines of Slam Dunk in terms of technical authenticity and reality with respect to the game of basketball, even going so far as to make the learning curve much more steep. Slam Dunk's MC Sakuragi had zero experience or interest in basketball before joining his team, but he was at least surrounded by skilled players like three-point specialist Mitsui and bitter rival / phenom Lukawa, who could help him develop into a better player. As for Ahiru no Sora though, it's nearly an entire team of scrubs, save for the natural talent that just needs to be further developed, such as Chiaki's excellent court vision, or his brother Momoharu's incredible hops and rim domination, and even the 4'10" Sora himself, who has the most dedication to the game, coming in with his own set of literal shortcomings. So how do they get over the obstacles and level up that natural talent? Do they power up and go into a Super Saiyan zone like Taiga Kagami from Seirin? No, they just practice. That's it. Sora hits the gym and learns to shoot from the left side after his weakness is exposed against Shinmaruko High. Now comes in as the manager and introduces zone and man-to-man defenses to help Chiaki become a better floor general and improve the overall offense. Momoharu will learn to recognize and utilize his above-the-rim abilities, and Kenji will start to understand that this is a team sport and that trusting his squad will be the key to his own individual success despite his advanced skill level. Now, is this route of leveling up as flashy or as sexy as Kagami's Meteor Jam, or Kuroko's Ignite or Cyclone passes, or the plethora of other superpowers from the Generation of Miracles that we see from the very beginning? No, but it's that organic development that builds these characters in a deeper, more meaningful way, and one that allows us as the audience to connect with them more closely. It's that process of playing to your strengths and acquiring new skills along the way, while also experiencing crushing defeats that serve as teaching moments that make stories like Haikyuu and Hajime no Ippo two of the best and most enduring sports anime and manga ever, and I'm glad that we get to see Ahiru no Sora take that route and do it very realistically. As of the publishing of this video, we're 12 episodes in, and Sora's squad has already dropped 2 games, one against the overpowering Shin Maruko, and again against their own school's girls team. But the valuable lessons learned from these losses are what will make the winning in the future much more satisfying and rewarding, both for the team and for us as viewers, and it's a reason I think Ahiru can stand toe-to-toe with Slam Dunk. And for good measure, Much like Slam Dunk, Ahiru no Sora even has a small lighthearted love triangle brewing, which I think only adds to the human element of the overall story, and I think it will be an attractive aspect to draw in viewers who enjoyed Haikyuu but cared more about the characters and their personal relationships rather than the game that they were playing. Although I will say that like Haikyuu, in Ahiru no Sora, it's the individual motivations of the teammates for why they play this game that make their dynamics so electric. But now I want to know what you think. Have you checked out Ahiru no Sora? Would you recommend it to anime fans who aren't into sports? And how do you think it compares to the likes of Slam Dunk and Kuroko's basketball? Let me know in the comments below. I'll be back again very soon, but until then, sayonara, suckers.